The Voices of Native American Art, Telling Our Story is an exhibition featuring original, fine, and contemporary Native American art. It's a beautiful exhibition. It will be on display until October 8th. All of the Native American artists are either descendants or have direct ties to the Winnebago land, so Wisconsin in particular. They come from all walks, all nations. I believe there's 14 tribal nations that are represented in this exhibition. With the opening of People of the Waters in September, we wanted something that tied to that storyline, so telling the story of Native Americans and early people in Wisconsin. And one of our content experts, Karen Ann and Mike Hoffman, they were instrumental in getting all the facts right in developing People of the Waters, and they just happened to have contacts with all of these Native American artists, the two of them being artists on display as well. So we thought it was the perfect tie with the opening of People of the Waters. It is not all traditional. It's a variety of mediums. There's paintings, pottery, beadwork, these incredible dolls that were handcrafted, silver. It's a huge array of art being displayed.
We're the Anderson family. This is Linda Lou Metoxen. This is Juniper Anderson, Sequoia Anderson, and Cypress Anderson, and I'm Ron Anderson, and we're a family of artists. What we like to do is we take traditional methods in silverwork, and then we adapt them to our styles. People always ask, is this Indian art? Well, we're natives, so any art that we make is Indian art. We don't always use turquoise or the traditional style, but we use a lot of the traditional methods.
This one's mine. It's a crown made of howlite and sterling silver.
This is my piece. It is cut-a-bone cast, sterling silver. When people look at my artwork, I hopefully they feel intrigued, interested. It's something unique, just something different, something like refreshing. Being native and a contemporary artist, it's just, you can take elements of culture, of your culture, and just mix them with the contemporary, which is just so great to me.
My dad helps me with jewelry. He helped me with this piece here. It is a bunny tofa cast, sterling silver. Tofa is a soft stone and you can carve into it. And I don't really have an animal that I do, so I usually do like different kinds of animals. So last year I did, I think it was a tiger. And then this year I'm trying something different, and I'm doing bunnies.
This is alabaster here. It's a type of stone that's dug from the earth, and it comes in many colors. I decided one day to incorporate the carvings as a handle to my goblets. It's kind of difficult at first because I don't remember how the technique, I kind of had to relearn those.
One of the pieces that I have created is this one. This is called Water Rights, and it is a cup, a drinking vessel. This is a pronghorn horn. The reason I did this piece was I was hunting with some friends out in Wyoming, and at the time we were camping out in the mountains next to a river, and we were drawing our water from there for washing our dishes and bathing and stuff like that. And the next day we went out and I noticed that the water level had dropped seriously. Within 3 days there was no water in the creek. So we had to cut our hunting trip short, and we came back into town and we were kind of discussing it, and there was a beautiful little creek that ran through town. It was bone dry. And so we were asking the locals out there, and they said, well, the rancher up the road shut off the water. And come to find out, if he didn't exercise his water rights, he loses them. Well, in response to that, I made this cup. We have a cup that's full of water, but it has a cap, and it's locked, it's chained down. You cannot get to it. And it was a piece kind of reflecting that story of everybody needs water. It's very important to us as human beings, but one person can control that element of life. And so I made this hopefully beautiful cup, but it has a kind of sinister feeling to it, a meaning to it. When people look at my work, and especially they say, oh, it's a native artist, and they have a preconception of what native art is. Oh, he does silverwork, that means it's turquoise and leaves and stuff like that, and very traditional Southwest stuff. I want them to go, this is a native artist creating metalwork that is the new tradition, using elements from the past to create something for the future.
All the artists did an audio telling their story of their art. And so when you pick up this audio guide at the beginning, on the artifact labels is a number. And you press that number into the remote, and then you can listen to that artist tell their story.
A long time ago, there was nothing down here on what we now walk on this earth, except for a watery abyss. Everything happened up in the sky. In the sky world, there was everything. There were trees, and there were men, and there were women, there were gardens. Everything existed up in the sky. Well, at one time, there was a woman up in that sky world, and she came and she sat beneath the boughs of the great ever-growing tree, that tree of light and life, and she sat down in its roots, and she fell. Well, some say she was pushed, but everyone agrees she went through a hole at the roots of that tree of light and life, and she began to fall and fall and fall, and while she was falling, all the animals down in that watery abyss, they saw her. They saw her coming, and they were moved to do something to help her, and the birds all flew up, and they thought they could save her, they thought they could catch her, but they weren't strong enough, they weren't big enough, and Sky Woman, she continued to fall, and the story goes on about all the help that the animals tried to give her, but finally what happened is that Turtle came up out of the abyss, and he thought that he could lay, and Sky Woman could land on his back. And while he was thinking that, Muskrat swam by, and he thought he could help. So Muskrat took a deep breath, and he dove down. He swam, and he swam, and he swam, and he swam, and he swam until he was almost out of breath. He grabbed a little bit of mud, and he popped back up, and he put that mud on Turtle's back. Just at that time, Sky Woman came down from the sky, landed on Turtle's back. Well, turtles are just small. First, just 1 foot. Pretty soon, Sky Woman, she could put down 2 feet. Turtle, he grew, and he grew. Finally, Sky Woman, she could sit. Finally, she laid. I may not have told you, she was pregnant at the time that she fell. Finally, Turtle grew big enough that Sky Woman was able to give birth on the back of the turtle. So that's where we Iroquois come from. We come from the sky. With the gift of the turtle, we now walk around on what's called Turtle Island. With the assistance of that muskrat, we have this land.
Voices of Native American Art will be on display until October 8th, and you can get more information about all of the events and programs that we have planned at oshkoshmuseum.org.
Oshkosh Today was supported in part by the Friends of OCM. House of Flowers, 1920 Algoma Boulevard. And Aurora Healthcare, 855 Northwest Haven Drive. Oshkosh Today.